what if you had an event, you charged admission, you had sponsors, and you had a charity involved, and it's like you could actually make money running events. I truly believe that everybody's looking for a side hustle right now. It's not Uber, people. Your best side hustle is events.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to tell me if you've heard this before. Another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast, people. I am so excited about today. We are going to combine the beauty of time management and the beauty of energy management with nonprofit and a charitable event. You just know from hearing me say that how fired up I am about today's session, like all the hot buttons for Michael Maher, all in one episode. And one of my favorite people to boot. Let's freaking go. We just lost our child audience with the LFG statement. So it's all good. But I'm going to interview my guest in just 1 second. Before I do that, I've got to throw this out first is a shout out to Christine Pandolf, who's a realtor in North Carolina. And she said, it's been an amazing, and there's that amazing word, and insightful process in time mastery class, being more in tune with the, in quotes, influential zone and blocking time during the day for white space has made all the difference. Working more productively has let me work less. Working in the influential zone has earned me more business and more money than I've ever done before. Drop the mic, Christine. Congratulations. That is awesome. And of course, that leads us to talk about our call to action today, which we are doing for the first time ever. We are doing time mastery class and energy mastery class in the same month. What are your two most precious resources? Time and energy. Time, 24 hours a day. It keeps ticking, right into the future. And energy. You only have what? Some people have 5 minutes of energy all day. And you guys know who I'm talking to. Some people have an hour a day. Some people have two. And what are you doing during your most energetic moments? Are you playing Facebook? Yes, I did say playing. Are you, walking the dog? Are you doing these things that maybe aren't the best use of your time? What if we could maximize our time and maximize our energy? How much would that change our life? A lot. So check it out at referralmasteryacademy.com. You can join the academy for less than $100. You get $1,500 in classes in April. That's not all. You also get 15 other mastery classes that we've taught in the last year. And that's not all. You get a free call with coach, a $750 value. All of this is at Referral Mastery class or referralmasteryacademy.com. Go check it out. Make it happen. And one of your esteemed teachers of time mastery is here with us today. And Neal Smith has served the Sacramento area for over 30 years as a certified mortgage planner. He is a proud graduate of Jesuit High School and holds a degree in real estate finance. This guy should be a mortgage professional. From California State University in Long Beach. Neal believes wholeheartedly in helping his clients achieve their real estate goals. Through decades of experience in the industry, Neal holds the ability to communicate an expansive view of local and national housing trends, as well as market movements. This knowledge makes him an ideal confidant to provide guidance for real estate considerations. Neal has served on many local nonprofits. Currently, he proudly sits on the Keaton's Child Care Alliance Board of Directors. Even though Neal has been given many wonderful titles, including Certified Referral Trainer with Jen, the ones that mean the most to him are husband and father. When he's not on the pickleball court, Neal loves to spend time with his wife, Angie, and sons, Jackson and Max, along with his, is that cat Frisco?
Yeah,
and
cat
dog
Frisco.
Shimmer.
Yeah.
Once again, welcome back to Referrals Podcast, Mr. Neal Smith, my friend and yours.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you being on, and great stuff. Are you excited about teaching time mastery class next month?
Yeah, Carla and I, we were touching base, a couple little tweaks and stuff, and she and I were just totally tickled to do it again. I mean, we're looking forward to it. It's for
I got
sure.
the edits to the book from Carla, and I mean, I didn't think it could get any better, and yet we did the 1 degree tweak, and it's going to be even better. So
Yeah, it's so I enjoy time with her. So it's so much fun for sure. And the neat thing to me about this class is, you know, is just the people and the impact. It just, you know, and I've done 30 mornings and what have you, and that definitely has a lot of impact. But I will tell you, in this last year of teaching this class, several people have reached out to me and said this has been some of the most impactful stuff they've ever had. So
and they're still doing it.
Yeah,
that's what I love. You know, it's been since August since they've taken the last one, and we still I still Lynn Faselli, who was in Event Mastery recently, was talking about just like that a couple of the lessons she learned. She's going to do it for the rest of her life. I mean, that's life changing. That's what you know. Hopefully, that's what our courses are, right? We don't do it unless it could change a life. So love that. And speaking of changing lives, I want to talk about something that you did recently that isn't necessarily time mastery or time management. It's your Cheers to Charity event. So what is this Cheers to Charity event that you did?
Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of history of it. I fell in love with wine years ago, and I was part of a social club that has been around since the 1800s. And when I was on their board, all this other stuff, when I got off, I was like, what am I going to do? And I decided to do wine dinners. And so I with some friends, we've done these wine dinners throughout several years. And then I was only going to the social club because of the dinners I was doing, and I'm spending all this money. And I don't know if you guys know, in the mortgage business, it's a little tight right now. So I had to cut my budget a little bit. So I cut the social club, and I really wasn't using it. And then I was like, how can I still feed these dinners? And I have a friend who was one of the top chefs in Sacramento. He has an event space that's absolutely incredible. And then he had another contact with another restaurateur that has all the liquor licenses. And so we kind of put this team together of friendships, and we put this team together saying, we can do these wine dinners. And, you know, several friends were like, why do you want charity? Well, no, I was adamant about doing this. I'm only doing this if charity is a part of this. And I learned that from you. I learned that a big influence for me is Toral and what she's doing with her give back. I created NKS Gives from that. You know, we're all my client events that we do, we're literally, you know, charities involved in every one. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Toral. And so we created NKS Gives. And so now it's like, this was a natural thing for us, is to do these dinners with a charitable component. Now, there's a lot to it on these events. I mean, we're one in, and we have another one in June and another one in August. There's a lot of moving parts. So this is not for just the faint of heart. You're going to just start your first event and do an I love you latte at all. And so, but I'm really excited about it, and people had a great time, and I'm looking forward to doing more and raising more money.
Well, I need to point out one of the most powerful things that you said there without pointing it out is the fact that you did one first of the year, you're doing one in June, and you're doing one in August. You're committed to 3 events, just like we teach in the YAPs. Well, all of a sudden that commitment makes you more powerful, because you do the dinner and the wine event. Well, you know, you're doing another one in June. Well, at this one, you can invite them to the next one. You can say, hey, you guys want to do another one of these? And they're like, yes. And you go, great, we're doing it in June, you know, and that generates momentum. And that's one of the biggest problems I see out there in sales is people are losing momentum left and right when the opportunity is right in front of them. And we've got to keep the momentum. And that's what this does is you're doing these events, you're tying the charity to it. God bless the generosity generation. So let me ask if this is an oversimplification. It's essentially dinner with wine. Is that what it is? So it's a charity dinner with wine?
Yeah, charity dinner, but we don't have the bells and whistles of a normal charity dinner where you have live auction, silent auction, raffle tickets, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We have a certain designated amount of money that goes because they're buying this ticket and it's not inexpensive. The first go around was $100 or $285, but $100 was going to the charity.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't an inexpensive ticket. We actually pared that down a little bit. We're going to go $235 this next time and go $50 because we have QR codes for them to hit that they can donate more money if they want to.
Yeah.
And I jokingly told them, I said, well, now that you're drunk, you've had some wine, there's a QR code on your table. And if you want, you can go and donate more money to the charity.
Yeah.
So that's about as hard sell as we do on this. So it's pretty light. It's pretty light. But I want to go back to one of the things you said, Michael.
Yeah.
One of the key things I learned from you is what's next. And so the people I'm doing this event with, we're like, why do you need the next wine dinner? Why do you need the date? I even had the charity that's going to be at the next one. They're speaking for the next event. And that's part of what we're doing is creating this what's next and really solidifying that and letting people know that we're going to have these future ones. And I think I got that. That was one of the key learnings I got from you that we implemented for sure.
Well, the what's next is so powerful because if there is no what's next, the relationship is doomed to wither and die. That's it. If you know that you're going to see someone in June, you are going to act differently between now and June. If you know there's going to be another interaction then you're in your head. There's just a different part of the brain that is for the people that you're going to interact with versus the ones you don't know you're going to interact with. The ones you don't know, it goes to a dark space. The ones that you do know, it's always kind of seems to be front and center. And people talk about this all the time. It's like, this financial planner, we had talked and stuff, and we're doing a charity dinner in August. And you know what? I was walking around and this person just came up and we started talking and they need a financial planner. And it's like, yes, I got a connection. I got a referral from Tony Scarpero, gal named Jackie. And we ended up, Janine, excuse me. And we were talking and it was funny as she was a broker in Pensacola, Florida, looking for agents. She wasn't looking for referrals or things, but what's amazing, I literally got a text message the next day from a Austin, Texas realtor that I know who had a new agent who was going to be absolutely terrific in the business, who was moving to Pensacola, Florida. Wow. And that's how it works when there's this what's next. If we know there's this future interaction, then we kind of keep them more top of mind and top of heart that way. So love that. All right. Here's another thing that you kind of just threw in there is a lot of the people who go through Event Mastery, they're doing free events, and the free events are, they get bowling or they get coffee or they get ice cream. In your case, you're charging people admission to your event and it's not $5. It's not $10. You charge $285 for this event. So, that is a very cool thing that opens up the, kind of the realm of possibilities for people that are listening to this is what if you had an event, you charged admission, you had sponsors and, you had a charity involved and it's like, you could actually make money running events. I truly believe that everybody's looking for a side hustle right now. It's not Uber, people. Your best side hustle is events. Have events that are profitable. And then get the leads and referrals from those events. I truly believe that.
Yeah. And on top of that, I haven't even discussed this with you at all. A advisor for a person that markets to high net worth people in the local area from an advisory firm, I'm not going to say who it is, said, would you guys do a separate event for us for our high net worth clients? And I said, yeah. We'll do it the day before and we'll have 60 people in the room. But I want everything rinse and repeat. I don't want something special for you. I want charity involved. I want all of these things involved, sponsorship involved, all of those things so that we have a rinse and repeat on this thing. That came out of the first event. The other one thing that came out of the first event, another gal who runs a nonprofit that happens to get most of her money from builders. And she said, can you run another event for us similarly in October? And I'm like, yeah, as long as we do everything the same. because I don't want to start deviating. And I'm not in the wine dinner business. I do mortgages for a living, but we want to have just people have great experiences. And I think that's what we've got together. So,
well, are you going to make money doing the high network advisory dinner? The answer is yes.
Well,
I mean, right? I mean, it's like, I think you should,
well, we're going to make some money
for networking, but it's
I'm going to make some money. I mean, part of the part of it I have is initial investment, and you're going to laugh at this one because you're not a big wine guy. Mm-hmm. I got a deal on wine glasses at $3,000 that I bought that I'm going to have, but I got them at like 25 cents on the dollar to give you an idea how expensive these glassware are, and I need more. So I'm still in the hole on this, but I think after 5 events, I'll have that covered, the cost covered, and potentially you'll have a little bit of profit.
Well, it's better than having the $12,000 come out of your pocket and never recouping it. You know, you've got a plan to recoup it. And I honestly, I don't know why you would not make some money from these events you're doing for other people. And even if it's just you do 300 a head and you get 100, the charity gets 100, and the people who run it get 100. I think that just makes a lot of sense. Same thing with the nonprofit. And if you're generating, 15 grand for the charity, they don't have any problem with giving you 1,000, because that's all profit for them, especially if you're doing all the work.
I mean, so our goal with the first one was to have 60 people there, and we had 30. And I was upfront with the nonprofit and said, I want you to fill the room by 60 people or 60%. They brought in 0.
Oh, wow.
We brought in the 30, they brought in 0, and we cut them a check. I was extremely disappointed in that. What I've had to do is I've had to have points of clarity to the nonprofit, like, hey, listen, this is not a huge moneymaker for me. You guys aren't doing much. I really want you to get butts and seats, because part of it for me is I want to be more in the influential zone to people I don't know.
Right.
And like we talk about people that are your advocates, your A+. I had a lot of A+ in that room. Then there's several people that didn't know me, but guess what? They're sitting there listening to all my A+, and they were excited for the same thing. So I'm running the same thing that we run in our client events, but now it's trying to get more new blood in there. And I think that I'm onto something. So I'm definitely excited about it.
Well, you're definitely onto something. And the thing that I mean, listen, you're not going to quit your day job of mortgages to do this, right? No. But here's the thing: you've created a product that's a winner. It's a charity dinner with wine, and the difference is it's not just a charity. And honestly, a lot of the charity people and a lot of the people who attend charity dinners are a little bit over the auction thing. They're just, it's annoying. You've got to stop actually networking and having conversations, and it's, sometimes it really gets out of hand too. But here's the thing is you've got this, it's a product, right? Yeah. What do entrepreneurs do? We develop products. And the thing that I love, and this is what I taught the event mastery people literally this week, is like, create the product that you can redo and redo and redo and so on and so forth. And what I love that you said is, I'll do it, but I'm not going to change a thing.
Yeah.
And that's a product. What is that? You now have this, Neal, you have a product to sell. You really do. Now, you don't always have to sell it. You can do it for your own good with your own sphere. But the nice thing is you've already got demand for these charity, and there's demand for people to put on events. There is demand. And since 2020, they all got caged. And then now people are uncaged and they're looking to engage. So I love what you're doing here. Now, the thing that we haven't talked a lot about is, like, you're really passionate about wine. You're really passionate. You didn't pick, bowling. You picked charity dinners with wine. So how important do you think it is for the people listening to do an event that they're passionate about? What is the difference between, you've done other events, now you're doing these events? What's the difference?
So I mean, part of this is I'm a big value add guy, and part of this $285 wine dinner, honestly, you go to Morton's or what have you, it would be $400+ but then they're also donating money to charity, so they're getting a lot of value, and they're able to buy the wine less than they can buy it like Total Wine and what have you, or Costco. So there's a lot of value based on this, and it is in my passion zone, and I'm kind of leaning into that a little bit, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But I also do. I'm not a big bingo guy, and I did a bingo thing, and man, these people love it, and I love seeing people come in and they're just passionate about it, and that's what I got from you guys, and even Toril talking to her about polling your audience, really figuring out what your audience really loves. And I think that's part of it as well. It's not just about you, but also about what do they want to do? Because so often you might say, I want to do X, right? And nobody really cares about that.
That's right.
Like Toril's I Love You a Latte. I don't know if you guys realize this. A lot of times they're on a Friday night and they happen to have beer and wine there.
Yeah, and a little bit of coffee.
Yeah,
they're at a bistro.
Yeah, exactly. With live music in the background, and it's a little different spin.
Well, that's how the comedy night started. Toril and Johnny weren't going to comedy nights, and they didn't even think about it. But they polled the audience and were like, "Which of these would you like to do?" They literally implemented the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire strategy. They narrowed it down to like 2 or 3. They had their group vote on it, and they sent an email out and had people vote on it. And then they talked to their top 25 people, and it came up adult only comedy night, and they're like, can we even pull this off? They went to the comedy club, and the comedy club gave them the greatest prices in the history of the world and said, like, we're going to open the whole place up for you. Right. And there's always like 10 or 20 people who aren't with the group. The rest are with them. Right. You went to that event, and, the 10 or 20 are definitely converted by the time, it's over, to Toril, to Toril's team, if you will, or Toril's tribe. But
when I went to her event, because I wanted to check it out, my wife happens to be from the area, so we kind of piggybacked on a few things. And when she came up there and said, everybody, we've raised, I think it was like 200 grand so far to charity. When she said we raised 200 grand, the place blew up because it was a team effort to get this. And that's what really just, I'm a little slow sometimes. It hit me over the head. It's like, you got to have a charitable component to your business because it brings them in so much. It's about we instead of just the transaction. It was just so powerful for me. And that was one of my big takeaways from her event. So,
well, I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about that. And we're doing RMS. Announcements are coming out. We're doing Referral Mastery Summit in Atlanta. We're doing it at a place called the Omni Downtown. Very, very nice area, very, very nice hotel. And we were talking to them, and it's like, we want to include, and they go, here's the deal. And that's the thing about bringing up the chair, is they are going to provide 4 meals for every hotel room that is booked through us. So they're going to donate that to the meals, and it's going to them and with every room. And I'm hoping that, man, hopefully we can feed the city for a year, just from this event. So I'm very, very excited about that. And how hard was it for me to just ask, like, how can we have a charity component to this? And they're like, well, this, and by the time it was over, it was like, well, don't do 2 meals, do 4 meals, but it was, it's easy if you just ask and that's the path you want to go down.
Yeah.
All right. So let's switch gears a little bit. Before I do that, how are you using the glasses? You talked about investing in the wine glasses. What role do they play in this event? How are you?
Well, so Riedel wine glasses, they're like $40 a glass, and I got these at $10 a glass wholesale. The wine just tastes better out of it. It's a whole thing. I could teach a class out on it, and you honestly would be like, there's no flipping way. And part of it you do is that's a whole nother podcast. But you have to just trust.
That's a whole nother podcast. I mean, that's pretty. that I almost want to go buy one just to see this thing.
I'll ship out some glasses, and when I see you in Atlanta, and I'll do it just with ice water. And it's crazy. Depending on the shape of the glass, it hits your mouth differently, and each wine is different based on where you want it to hit your mouth, and it tastes differently. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's almost like magic.
Well, that's a while in itself. So how are they just they're there? Are you giving them as gifts?
No. We reuse them. So just like you sit down at a dinner, except for you have all these different wine glasses with different shapes, depending on what wine we're going to pour.
Yeah.
So like a Chardonnay glass might be a little bit more round. Another one would be this way. Another one is going to be this way. Another one's, and so they're going to be different shapes and stuff, and that it tastes different according.
Wow. Well, that's very cool. So, love that. And all right, so now let's switch gears and talk about the business strategy behind this event. What's the strategy in your mind? What are you looking to do?
For me is one, the passion, right? And then having an event with my top yaps that love, because a lot of my top yaps already love wine. So it's including that into that, kind of melding that in. But then on top of it, for me is that most people that donate to charity, okay, and are advocates, and they're in the love wine and all of that stuff, a lot of them have a house. Mm-hmm. Or they might have a nicer house than normal. And so my thought process is, if I can get these nonprofits to fill up 50% of the room, I'm now getting introductions as a quote unquote expert up there that happens to be a mortgage guy too. So that after a couple of these, they might like me a little more. And if they need a mortgage, they might consider using me.
That's right.
So that's part of the recipe. Is that I was disappointed in my first one, is that the nonprofit brought in zero. Yeah. And I really think that that's mission critical on this, that they bring in 50%. Yeah. And so we're really hitting it hard, because I want these other people that don't know me to all of a sudden know me.
Yeah. So you're looking to grow your sphere of influence. And what was interesting is you increased and improved your influence, but it was your own sphere of influence versus growing through number a little bit and adding. So I'm guessing you're using a different charity in June. There's a different nonprofit partner.
Nonprofit. We're gonna rotate them like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the nonprofit we just did, I don't know if they just weren't a buy-in or what have you. I'm not more likely to use them next time. Yeah.
Right. You live and learn. And I have to tell you, I mean, we're in Event Mastery, just talked to Remy, and she had this nonprofit, but they were really hard to get a hold of. And, I was like, don't they want to be associated and partner with your event? And she's like, I don't know. Like they aren't responsive. And I go, if you're trying to give them money and try to give them help and they're not responsive, like, how are they going to be when it comes to the event and appearance and representative there and everything else? It's like, there's nonprofits listening to this right now that are raising their hand and they're going, just call me. And if you're that nonprofit, post in GenGen, go to joingengen.com and let us know that you're the responsive, charitable place, right? You want to go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
I think that's important too, especially in what regions they are, because we have these people doing this all around the country. Yeah. And they're looking for good nonprofits that have good messaging. I think that's a really good call.
Love it. All right. Did you have sponsors?
I did. I normally, me, you don't know this. I don't know if I've told you, I don't get sponsors for my events. Yeah. And I'm weak in that, even though I'm going to be speaking at Event Mastery here soon. Yeah. I did get 2 sponsors. I
just put a note down not to have you speak during the sponsor part, unless you improve a ton between now and then. And you make this a strength of yours, which is so typical of you, is you would take something where you're like, I'm weak at that. And then in August, you're telling me, I've got 22,000 sponsors for this one event.
I got 2 sponsors this last time, and I limited it to 2 because it was just, we want, again, not to have it be overwhelming. I just figured out my budget, and I did 2 sponsors at $500 each. Yeah. One was a local realtor team that I work with. The other one was a financial advisor. So they're both A+ in my category. Yeah. And they have commitments to sponsor ongoingly. And so my thought process right now is, while they're proof of concept, keep it lower, and then
That's
down
right.
the road, if we can, maybe if I'm getting enough value to them, maybe upping that cost down
Yeah.
the road. But right now we're at the beginning stages.
Yeah. Love it. Um, did you get any referrals from it?
No,
Okay.
not
All
that I
right.
know of yet.
And
I did not put a door prize entry form in.
hence,
It
yeah.
didn't feel right for me.
When was the event? How long ago was the event?
Um, what, February 1st.
Okay. So you are in, and this is what I love about Referrals podcast. It's like, Michael, don't give away your best stuff. I'm going to give away one of my best stuffs, right? So there's 3 referral systems as part of the event mastery system, right? One is the door prize system at the event. Another one is your RSVP process. Using a Google Doc, you can have questions on there that generate leads and referrals. You are in the follow-up.
Yep.
You could do a survey, Neal.
We've done it
Survey.
already.
Did you have questions on there that would lead to mortgages and financial and real estate?
No, not
So
yet.
you could still do it. You could still do it. Hey, I don't know if you saw it, but hey, you could do a second survey.
Yeah.
And in the second survey, collect a little bit of data, and then also have 3 or 4 questions that drive stuff to your realtor partner, and also drive stuff to your financial advisor partner, and then have it on there. People are looking to do renovation loans right now. You do that, right? And then home equity line of credit, maybe. The refinance is not there right now.
No.
But the question about the real estate, anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, that helps you too,
For sure.
So adding 4 or 5 questions to another survey, and on that, you could even have it be, we're doing it again. Help us do it again, right? We're doing it in June, and we just had some questions for you. So the first 3 or 4 questions can be, would you attend? The second one is, how can we improve? The third thing is, what did you really like about the previous one? Number 4 is, do you know any charities that might be wanting to be involved in the future? And then, do you know any sponsors who might want to be involved in the future? And then have a blank for that. And then your 3 or 4 questions. And, people are willing to answer about 7 questions, we've discovered, at the most. If you can get it down to 3 to 5, that's great. But if you can keep it to 7, they'll fill it out, and it might generate some referrals for you.
For sure. For me, that's one of the things I got from knowing you is the door prize entry form is just brilliant. I wanted to get a little away from that on this initially, and then I'm working to get my legs under me. And then, but it was killing me not to do the door prize entry because I know it's so valuable.
Well, let me ask you this. How many of them have a Riedel or Rydell glass?
That was there?
Yeah.
Probably not
How many?
very many.
Maybe 0 of the attendees.
Maybe.
So one of the things you could do is you could have door prizes where they win one of those, right?
Yeah.
Or, you could tie it in a bottle of wine. Here's what I've discovered. There isn't a place on earth where people don't want to win.
Yeah.
It's just the only one that I sometimes say, hey, listen, don't worry about the door prize, is an I love you latte at a Starbucks. Just pay it forward on steroids, have a good time. If you can get their business card, get their business card, but maybe you don't need the registration table if it's at a Starbucks. If it's at a local coffee shop, set it up and go to town. But there are not very many bar for a happy hour. You better have a registration table. You better have golden tickets, and you better have door prizes, because they're going to love it. They're going to love it. So anyway, but there are 3 ways to get referrals, and now they've had the value. They've experienced the value that you provided. And sometimes the best referral system is the follow-up referral system with a follow-up survey. So, and I know Toral's doing this right now too. So, good stuff there. All right. So anything about the event that we haven't talked about that, what are you going to improve next time in June? What are you going to do a little bit better than you did at this event?
We downloaded already, and a little bit of communication. We've been working on that a little bit better. And we use green envelope. We've been sending out the stuff, what have you. The biggest thing for us in communication is talking to the nonprofit and really getting their buy-in.
There you go.
So one of the things I'm doing is I shot a promo video that we sent out for this. I'm actually doing the promo video with the director of the nonprofit. So next week, she and I are going to sit down, shoot the video. So now she's on camera with me just to give it more validation to send it out to her people.
That's brilliant. I am so glad I asked that question, because that is a huge answer for so many people that, maybe are newer, like Lynn's newer in South Carolina. And some of it's like, the best way to grow your sphere of influence in a local area is to borrow, is to partner with someone who already has a sphere of influence in the area. And doing that promo video together is a genius idea. And it doesn't just help you. It really helps that charity partner in this case, drive more people to and you've set the expectations. 60 in the room, 30 are going to be from our sphere of influence, but I want you to get 30 from your mailing list or whatever they call it. And you've set the standard. And here's the thing: the previous charity set their standard really low, and now this charity has an opportunity. They put 30 in the room. Maybe you've already got your charity for August.
Absolutely. Well, I already have it, my charity for August 32, because I'm literally tasting wine for the August event. So I have everything drilled down for the June event. So it's just getting in front of it. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I got from you and is always having a photographer and videographer. The video that we got from it, it really helps sell the thing for going in the future and getting people. We had the nonprofit talk that would benefit. We also had the nonprofit that's going to be the next event there as well. That's another cool thing to do. Beautiful. So that they're saying, hey, we're up next.
Yeah.
And so that people can ask them about their nonprofit and stuff.
That's accountability for your current charity, though. I freaking love that. That the charity you're partnered with right now doesn't want to look bad in front of the other charity. So of course they're going to have, they're going to bust their butt to try to get 30 there. I love that. And, you talk about photography and videography. Well, once you have those, all of a sudden there's so many uses for the photos, for the videos, and everything else that you can do with that. Just another question that I have, just out of curiosity, is have you incorporated music at all at these charity wine dinners?
We just have background theme music. We're trying to keep it just not so nonprofit, whatever, just a really enjoyable thing. But, I recognize the sponsors taught me that. Right. Yeah. So we get around the room. We also have the winery there to talk about the history of the wine,
love that,
winemaker, all that stuff. So there's several interruptions that we have and little things like we don't want to have food on the table while sitting there getting cold while people are talking. Yep. I mean, there's little just tweaks that we're learning, but I think at the end of the day, we want people they're spending a lot of money. We want them to have an amazing experience.
That's right. Anything else you want to add on this Cheers to Charity dinner event that you're doing?
I think video is really important. Incorporate video with your business. NKS Financial is the number one sponsor. Even though my company's not paying any money, right? I'm putting a lot of time. I think it's okay to have that. Mm-hmm. And I think video, if you go on to like my website with my team NKS, we have events. I have my past client events there. Guess what? We're incorporating the Cheers for Charity in that too. So we're not keeping it as a totally separate entity. We're keeping it kind of all encompassing in this. And I think that's okay to have that but you need to document, because I had done so many events in the past and didn't have pictures and videographer there that have gone bye-bye because nobody really remembers.
Yeah. It's like in the river, right? The river is past and nobody remembers, the river. So yeah, I love that. So now here's the other thing is so you're teaching time mastery class next month, and I'm teaching energy mastery class next month. Somebody's on the fence about Referral Mastery Academy. Any words of advice or something you would tell them?
Well, if you sign up for this class by itself, either class by itself, it's a lot of money. Yeah. And I think, you just have done such a good job to build in monthly classes for people. And some classes, it's multiple times, like time mastery. We're in energy mastery. I imagine you're teaching it multiple times this year. And so here's the thing, to build something in yourself, you have accountability. And honestly, people don't realize how amazing of a network of group of people you have with Generosity Generation. I mean, based on somebody talked to me about virtual events the other day, I had 2 calls with people. Lynn's actually one of them. She called me to pick my brain on how to do virtual events. And I kind of walked her through what I've done with that. And I think that's what you get, is this huge community. And for the price of entry, it's not that much money. Yeah. It really isn't.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And, I have to thank you publicly with the Roger Savvy connection, who connected me to Hannah Escher, who connected me to a buyer that I referred to one of the top agents in the country. And right now we're working as a team with her financial planner, the client's financial planner, to get her into a great real estate property that is going to be a great investment for her. And we're going to set her off. It is her first home, but it's a substantial first home. And I'm just excited about that. And I want to say publicly, I just want to say thank you for that opportunity. And thank you for connecting me to Roger. And Roger, thank you for connecting me to Hannah. And Hannah, hopefully when I connected you to Derek, it'll be the partnership of a lifetime. So thank you.
Great Retrace to me is one of the most powerful things that I ever got from you. And I keep saying a lot of things like that space. That I think that was the first podcast I was on years ago, was about the Retrace. And if you don't know about the Retrace, you got to figure it out, because it is so stinking powerful.
It is. It's my favorite. It's all I do all day. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. The phone calls I make, 80% of them are some type of great retrace. And so it's a beautiful thing. It's a great excuse to call. Great, appreciation is a great excuse to call anytime. So this has been fantastic. I really appreciate it. I always love our conversations. I always do. We both have sons named Max, and we are kindred spirits, both love sports. And, you say I don't necessarily love wine, but I'll have a glass every once in a while. And usually it's a really good one, because you know what to order. And I do not have any clue what to order. I have whatever the opposite of a wine connoisseur is, that would be me. And hopefully that's not a wino. So
I don't want to really teach you, because I've corrupted a lot of friends, and now their budget is changed a little bit.
There you go.
I'm just warning you. So
yeah. Well, I love it. I appreciate you so much. And Neal, thanks once again for coming on Referrals Podcast and being our guest today.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you, Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, another amazing podcast, as you know. And by the way, I do know the next one too, and you're going to love it. You've got to tune in every Tuesday. Make sure you've got the subscribe button pushed so that it automatically downloads. You can listen to it anytime during the week. I've noticed there's a little bit of a club going on Tuesdays with people listening to this and then kind of talking in Gen group. So for those of you that are brand new to us, welcome to Generosity Generation. Join us at joingengen.com. Typically, people will join Gen, and then their next step is to get into the Referral Mastery Academy and become an ambassador. So check that out at referralmasteryacademy.com. Otherwise, rate us, review us. We'd love to hear more. Please share this with the people that you know, your friends and colleagues. But otherwise, we'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. See you, everybody.